Hey, look what came in the mail. It says 628 Dirt Rooster. Beekeeping with 628 Dirt Rooster. Wonder what it is, folks. It's addressed to Jason Chrisman, JC's Bees. Let's open it up. Let's see what it is. I think I have a pretty good clue of what it is, but let's check it out. Look at that fancy box. It even says 628 Dirt Rooster right on the box. Boy, he's fancy. Moment of truth, folks. What could it be? Just what I thought. Look, he's even got wrapping paper with his name on it. Boy, that guy's got it all. Looky here, folks. Look at that. Isn't that a beaut? My goodness, Randy. You outdone yourself, buddy. That is fancy. That's gonna have to be my good go-away hat. I'll get that sucker dirty within a day's time if I wear it around the house. 628 on the back, and it's adjustable. It's not like these other hats that are fitted. I like these hats a lot better. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it, bud. I think I'll wear this in today's video. Hello, folks. Jason Chrisman, JC's Bees, your Central Ohio beekeeper. Right off the bat, happy Independence Day. As you can see, I'm supporting my red, white, and blue, thanks to Dirt Rooster. Thanks a lot, Randy, for the hat. Much appreciated. Probably won't wear it in a whole lot of my videos just because this is going to be my good hat. Every time I say I'm going to have a good hat to wear out and about when we go to town and different things, somehow it gets worn to the farm and then it's all downhill and not a good hat anymore. So I'm going to do my best to try and make this my good hat. Really like it. Very comfortable. I like how stretchy it is, and you can tell it's just made with top-notch materials. So thanks again, Randy. Appreciate it. In today's video, I want to start off by talking about my little nuke yard here and how things have progressed through the season. Then I would like to talk about a couple upcoming videos and some things I want to share on them. So let's get started. Right off the bat, we got little Ladybug over here helping this morning. Oh, Ladybug. Ladybug want to say anything? Sit. Sit. Good girl. Sit. 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 Stay. You stay. That's not very good. Stay, Ladybug. Oh, well, you tried, huh, honey? You trying. Okay, so back in the early spring, I started this bee yard here at my house with only 10 frame single deeps. You can still see some of the deep bodies still sitting over there. I haven't yet to put them away. I took those deeps, them single deeps, and I just fed the crap out of them because we were getting rain. The bees weren't able to get out and work. And I kept feeding them until they filled up a second deep box. Now, keep in mind, all of these frames that they were filling up were already drawn comb. I didn't have to install any new foundation to get to that point. So after I got all of my 10 frame colonies into double boxes, 10 over 10s, then I started making splits and queen rearing. I took those 10 double deeps and I made, I think it was 43 splits into nucleus colonies, five frame nukes. And then I started adding virgin queens to them. I got them mated. I don't know how with the rain we had, but I did get them mated. And I sold, I believe, what was it, 24, 25, something like that, of those nukes after they got their population built up. The queens started laying, they started gathering resources and storing in them frames. Then I sold those 25, 22, 25, can't remember which. And now, to date, I want to walk around here and show you what I have still. The last nukes left the other day. I want to send a huge shout out to Tracy Scott. You did me a huge favor there. Appreciate that, bud. Had a customer in Indiana who was unable to make it here to get his nukes, and Tracy volunteered to run them out there for me, and he just did that this week. So huge shout out to Tracy. Appreciate you, bud. So we've got 1, 2, and so you know, on my colonies, when the brick is laying flat like this, it means they have a mated queen. If the brick's turned up on its side, it means they have a queen, but I have not yet witnessed eggs, so therefore I haven't verified that she is mated. So just wanted to point that out before we go through here. So we go 1, 2, 3. Don't count that one, it's a lie. Just got it on there to keep it from falling over. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 nukes still left. So that's pretty impressive. In my mind anyway, it just blows my mind that I was able to take 10 colonies and I moved the rest to another apiary. This particular nuke yard here is at my home, and I just like the convenience of customers being able to meet me here. So all the other colonies went to another bee yard. And I still was able to produce, let's just call it 25 nukes to sell, and I have 16 left here in the yard. Now, I want to explain a couple things. This one has a couple extra bricks on it because we had some storms the other day, and it's got a polystyrene hive lid on it, and basically styrofoam, a real dense styrofoam, and I didn't want it to blow off, so I put some extra bricks on there. This one over here, it's a polystyrene hive completely, and they like the beard a lot because they don't have much ventilation. Their ventilation consists of that hole right there on the front and a little tiny hole on the back that I use to treat with oxalic acid, and they've been treating it like an entrance. They've actually pushed the golf tee out here on the ground that I used to plug that hole, and I don't know if the mower hit it or what, but I haven't been able to find it. There's a bee coming out, and I haven't taken the time to bring anything else over here and plug it back off. So the reason these lids are on here like they are is because they were bearding during the rain, and I'm like, man, you guys are getting soaked. So I kind of cantilevered them out over the front and the back just to give them some protection from the rain. So that explains the lid situation there. All the extra bricks on this one. This one here, it's just an empty box that I've been storing bricks on, so I don't count that one either. This one here, I can't remember inspecting it, so I'm going to have to assume that I haven't verified that it has a mated queen. But everything else in here does, with a brick on it, with the exception of this one here, I guess. And the only reason it has a brick on it is because it's a little two-framer, and during the storms the other night, I didn't want it to topple over, so I put a little weight on it. But this here's something I want to highlight today, and it's something I'm going to do a more in-depth video on in the future. What we've got here, let's walk around to the front. This is something a nuke customer kind of brought me as a gift this year, and I'm pretty excited about it, not only because I've never used a two-framer, and if you're not aware, two-framers are a great way to make splits. It holds 2 deep frames. You throw a frame of brood in there with some young eggs and some larvae, give it a decent population, a bunch of nurse bees. They'll raise a queen, and before you know it, the queen will be mated, and then you can move the 2 frames over to a 5-framer, and as the 5-framer grows, you can either add a second 5-frame box, or you can move them into a 10-frame box. So that's how a 2-framer would be used. But this one's rather unique. He did a great job on building it. I believe his name was Rich. I had so many customers, they all run together. I believe his name is Rich. So Rich, if you're watching, I greatly appreciate this, bud. On the front here, you've got a little entrance dial so you can reduce it down. You can trap them in and give them ventilation, or you can give them full access to the entrance, or you can do a little excluder, keep the drones from getting in or out. So you've got that option. Then he's also put this block in here, which opens up the entrance all the way in. So you've got the option of which entrance you want to use depending on the population. But here's the really neat part. On the inside, and I want to say Rich gave me the whole setup here, the 2-framer, the lid, and these 2 frames. And this is where it gets rather interesting. I've seen the 2-framers before. I've never used them, but I've seen them before. He gave me a sheet of plastic waxed foundation, which feels like it has a nice coating on it. So he uses a good distributor, evidently, or manufacturer. Here's the interesting part, folks. And I'd never heard of this until the other day when he delivered this. BetterComb. Now, I had to do a little research on it. BetterComb is a man-made, drawn-out comb. If you can look at it here, it looks just like beeswax or bee comb on both sides. So, what this would be used for is if you're in a dire situation and instead of giving a colony that's growing a blank foundation to draw out, which would kind of hold them back because they've got to use their resources to draw that out, you could buy a box of BetterComb. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's a little bit pricey. I've priced it since I've got this, and it's about $56 for 10 deep frame pieces. It's not made of beeswax. It's made of other waxes, which the FDA has approved and says is safe for bees. But you can see I've yet to introduce any bees into it, and I plan to do that and do a more in-depth video starting real soon. But I wanted to highlight this option of the BetterComb just in case you were not aware. Now, Rich has just taken, you can see there, toothpicks and pushed down through the comb to hold it in place. And he's got one there at the top. He's got 4 down the side. He's got a couple, 3 in the bottom, a couple up this side. So he's got toothpicks all the way around holding that in. Now, if you go to, where was it I looked at it? Better Bee, I believe. If you go to their website and read about it, there's actually a few different ways that they recommend that you secure this to your frame. And the most popular seems to be embedding wire, which is where you take a real fine metal wire, push through these holes on the side of the frame, come across to this side, and then you hook up a source of electricity. Not very much, just a few volts, and you heat that wire up, and when the wire heats up, it kind of pushes itself, melts itself right back into the foundation so that it's in the center. So that's what's highly recommended. I'm sure the toothpicks would work fine for a brood frame, but if they make this into a honey frame, I could see the toothpicks failing. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a split, and I'm going to stick it in here, and we're going to do a little video on this BetterComb and see how well it works. And at the same time, you'll get to see how a 2-framer works. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you stay tuned for this, because I'm rather interested to see how that BetterComb does work. The other thing I want to talk about is I've had a lot of people ask me, do you plan to finish your studies on treating with staghorn sumac for varroa mites? Yes, I plan to get that started real soon. Actually, I'm working on 2 colonies, 2 nucleus colonies right now that I plan to set up. I just got some new equipment. I'm getting them painted, and then we're going to get some bees in them, and then we're going to get that test started. And what I plan to do is, this time around, I'm going to run 2 nucleus colonies. They'll start out in single boxes, 5-frame nukes, and then they'll grow to a 5/5. Each colony is going to get its own smoker, and the smoker fuel for each colony is going to be different. For one colony, I'm going to use my standard fuel, which is wood shavings. For the other one, I'm going to use staghorn sumac. So here's what I'm thinking. Standard smoker fuel, sumac. So I'm going to call one hive Stan. I'm going to call the other one Sue. And what we're going to do is, for 6 weeks, I'm going to monitor their mite count. I'm going to do alcohol washes once a week. I'm going to have sticky boards, screen bottom and sticky boards under both colonies, and I'm going to monitor the mite drop. And after 6 weeks, we'll compare all the notes, and we'll see if sumac did lower the mite count versus just the regular standard smoker source or wood shavings, as I said. So that ought to be rather interesting. If you have any other tips of things maybe I should think about comparing while doing this, I'd love to hear your input down below, because it may help me out a lot. But here's a picture of the colonies here's a picture of the boxes I'll be using. I plan to add their names on the front, Stan and Sue, just so we can keep them straight. They will be sitting just a couple feet from each other, so that way the environment isn't playing the tool. I don't want one to be in the shade and one to be in the sun, so I'm going to try and set them both up right in the sun and start testing for 6 weeks. So it'll be rather interesting, and I plan to get that started here real soon, so stay tuned for that. I know there's a lot of people that swear by staghorn sumac and killing varroa mites. Now, I do want to point out, because there's an inspector here in Ohio that's just totally against using sumac for mite treatment, and he says it's not an approved method, but all the methods mentioned in Ohio to use aren't really approved. So I ain't gonna use, I'm not necessarily gonna let that stop me. Matter of fact, my county inspector told me that he uses staghorn sumac. So how can one Ohio inspector say he uses it and another county inspector says, oh, that's against the rules? So, you know, I ain't gonna blow all up about it like he did, but he pointed out that somebody didn't really know what they were doing. They went out and got some sumac, they put it in their smoker, and them inhaling the fumes made them greatly sick. They were hospitalized. Well, I hate to hear that, but at the same time, if you don't know exactly what staghorn sumac is, you shouldn't be trying this. There is such thing as poisonous sumac, and I guarantee you wouldn't want to put that in your smoker and breathe it. So, just a little insight here. I'm going to show you what staghorn sumac looks like, but if you're not 100% confident, don't attempt this. Okay? Just wanted to point that out there. Make everything clear right out the gate. I don't need the Ohio inspector giving me more grief because I'm doing a video on this. I just want to see if it really works. Is there something natural that I can put in my smoker that's going to kill mites and I'm not going to have to buy anything? That sounds interesting. Anyway, folks, that's my plans for first a couple upcoming videos, and I hope you'll stay tuned. I hope you have a great holiday weekend. Stay safe, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Thanks for watching JC's Bees. You enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe. Thanks.